Okay, Kyle.
Okay, Kyle.
Oh, okay. The project I chose was to make spaghetti with my grandpa. The reason I chose this project because I thought it would be neat to make spaghetti with the master, my grandpa. And the people who are participating in this project is my grandpa and me.
Well, Kyle, it's an honor to have a day cooking my spaghetti sauce with you. And I'm far from a master, but I learned from my father, who was a chef. And from there, I started the sauce so that my brother, when he arrives, and his wife, and all of your family, you won't have to wait too long, because the sauce will thicken by then. So, but I can go back and start and tell you exactly how I did it, what spices I used, and we'll go in order on how I prepared it as to even the tomatoes and where I got them from. How's that? Is that what we're after?
Yes.
Okay, this is going to be very enjoyable. By the way, I want you to look at he is called a sous chef. He is my second in command here. Okay, this is how we start our spaghetti sauce. We have a brand of tomatoes that come right out of Italy. They're called La Valley Pomodori. We also have the sauce, Italian, out of Italy. It's pomodori, but it also has basil and some spices in it. By adding the two together, it makes the right proper emulsion so that when your sauce cooks down for a couple of hours, it will be thick enough so it will stick to your spaghetti. After all, spaghetti is, if there's any questions, Kyle, I want you to ask me now.
Okay.
Spaghetti is sauce, but it's also how the spaghetti tastes. You have to taste the spaghetti. You can't have it all saturated with sauce only. And the way you start is that, of course, you open your objects up and you put it in there, and I start to warm it up. Along with that, then I'll add a bay leaf. I'll add some basil. I'll tell you how much as I go along. I'll add some parsley. I'll add some rosemary. And in all those ingredients, you really can't tell how much you're putting in until the sauce starts to get a little warm, and then you can start to smell it. You get one of these. Kyle, now if you put your head down there and you can start to smell all of those spices, you should be able to take and smell every ingredient that I've mentioned.
It smells very good.
Can you smell every ingredient? Nothing's overpowering another, is there?
Nope.
Okay, that's how you want to make sure you put your spices in. Along with that, I have oregano right from Italy. That's very, very necessary. It's the most flavorful, and I keep it wrapped like that. Every once in a while I like to open it up. It makes the house smell real nice. Okay, that's so much for the spices. Then I have some grated cheese that pepperoni cheese, that I add into that, about a half a cup into the sauce. I stir that up and I let it start to cook. As I now have to do some other things to the sauce, I now put a half of onion, slicing it very nice and thin. I put 4 cloves of garlic, slicing that nice and thin. In some, that's the next thing that goes. Into some olive oil. And I always use extra virgin olive oil. I saute that. You don't want to burn any of the onions. You want to clarify them. And also the garlic. Nothing worse than burnt garlic.
What does clarify mean?
Clarify is to clear, when the onion turns clear. And you're not browning it, you're not doing anything with it, you're clearing it. So when you take an onion and it's white, when it's done here, it's clear.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. Then I chop some mushrooms. After I'm done with it, I add that to the sauce. After that, I take a little more garlic and I chop up some mushrooms, and I'll put that in the pan and cook those. I don't cook those all the way through because actually they're mostly water anyway, but they do add a nice personal touch of flavor to the sauce. After that, I add a little of Troy. I don't use salt. I use pepper, but I don't use salt. I should have told you that, about a half a teaspoon of pepper. And I use La Choy soy sauce instead of salt, which I think maybe gives it an extra little flavor tidbit that nobody else does. After that, you get your sausage, of which you can use anything you like to make spaghetti sauce. In Italy, actually, spaghetti sauce was made out of mostly leftovers. Anything that was left over in the kitchen, Grandma used to take it, chop it all up, throw it in some tomatoes, and cook it for 4 hours, and that was their spaghetti sauce. It wasn't necessarily they went to the store and got all fresh meat all the time. That was not what spaghetti was all about. But in America, the land of plenty, we can go out and we can buy sausage, and we can cut it all up, and we pan fry it first in the same garlic, onion pan. That's very important to do that, because you get the flavor from the onion and the garlic that's still left in the pan, and you put it in your sauce. Then when you're done with that, you drain your fat off of the frying pan, and what happens is that you'll have a residual left in the pan of sausage stuck to the bottom of the pan. You've seen that, Kyle, before? Huh?
Yes.
Okay. And then what you do is you take a little bit of water and you deglaze the pan. Do you know what deglazing the pan is, Kyle?
No.
Okay, that's when you take all the fat out, you take a little bit of water, or as much water as it needs, to loosen all the impediments that are on the bottom, and the sauce now, that water now becomes very brown. And you let that cook down a little bit until the pan is completely clean. It's almost like you're using soap and water, but this is really the essence of the flavor of the sauce. You never want to forget to do this. And then you apply that to the sauce, and now you're all done, and you let it cook for about, in this case, probably is going to have to cook. It's a little on the thin side yet, as you can see. It's probably going to cook another hour and a half, which would make it total cooking time of about 3.5 hours. Is there any questions?
No, that's about it.
Kyle, it's been a pleasure to work with you today. Thank you very much for asking me to do this.
Okay, you're welcome. Our sauce is currently cooking, and along with the spaghetti that we'll usually make garlic bread. Grandpa?
Would you like me to show you my recipe of garlic bread, Kyle?
Yes, please.
Okay. We have the garlic bread all prepared. I like to go to the Italian store and I buy what is known as focaccia bread. It's an Italian flatbread that's made specifically with olive oil instead of water. They use more olive oil than they do water to prepare the dough. It also becomes a very, very nice, soft, light dough. After that, I prepare some butter. I add some sweet basil to the butter and some olive oil, and I heat this up until everything melts. Then I cut my flatbread in half. This is what the flatbread looks like. I have an extra piece left. This is what's called Italian flatbread. I slice this in half, and on both sides I use a brush and I brush it with the mixture. Then when I take that mixture, I put both halves of the bread in the broiler, and I broil it on high, probably until it just turns brown. You don't want to burn it. And then I take it out, and then when it just cools, when it cools enough to handle it, I cut it in pieces, and then I put it in a tray, and then just before we eat it, I'll throw it in the oven for a couple minutes, and we heat it up just a little bit again. So that would be another preparation. Capiche, Kyle?
Yes. May I try a piece?
Absolutely. Kyle, taste it and see if you like it.
Very good.
You like that?
I like it very much.
Good.
Okay, well, the sauce is finished, and we're just about ready to mix the sauce in with the noodles. Grandpa, take it away.
Okay. Now, here we have a noodle. It's called Persiatelli. It's a little bit short of, it's a round noodle with a little hole in it, is what it really boils down to. It's made in Italy. When you buy it from Italy, it's the best noodle you can buy. You can buy the American made, but it leaves off a lot of stuff that you don't want in the water. You'll notice if you buy Italian spaghetti that it doesn't leave off much residue with the Seminole flour, in other words, what I'm getting at. Now this water was boiling really profusely, but all of a sudden it's not. What we do, in order for the pasta not to stick, we add olive oil to the water. When you add olive oil to the water, it coats the pasta and it does not stick any longer. So when this comes to a boil again, this will start to reduce down into the water. I've already added salt, and in about 8 minutes after cooking, we'll be ready to mix the pasta. Any questions, Kyle?
Not yet.
Okay.
Oh, hi. We're back, and the noodles are almost done, and my grandpa's going to check it right now.
To me, they look like they're about done. But the real acid test is they're done. They're done.
As you can see, if it sticks to the refrigerator, then I guess they're done.
Now we're going to take them off, and we're going to strain it, and we're going to add the sauce, and we're going to make a toast, and about ready to eat. Okay.
Hello. This is a typical Italian dinner, which includes many people, salad, spaghetti, jello, garlic bread, and applesauce, wine, chocolate milk, and toast from the host.
Well, thank you, Kyle.
You're welcome.
I'd like to make 2 toasts tonight. The first toast I'm going to make, as I get older, I think this toast is probably more memorable to me than all the rest of them. And that is taken from the Irish. May the devil not know I'm in heaven for 50 days before I'm dead.
Play this in school?
And my second toast is alla famiglia.
Alla famiglia! Hello. The main things that I learned from doing this project were some cooking terms that I never knew before. And this strengthened my relationship with my family members because we got to sit down and talk with each other while eating spaghetti. And that concludes my project.